In this video, we're going to do some practice energy conversions going from our food calories or kilocalories to kilojoules, calories, and joules. We're using these 4 energy conversions. Really, 2 of them are just metric conversions using the kilo prefix. Okay, so here we go. We're actually going to do this with dimensional analysis using the train track method. Okay. A candy bar contains 215 calories. Convert this energy to kilojoules. Okay, so I'm given 215 calories, so I'm going to underline that. Also, this is a capital C, which means that this is really kilocalories. So I'm going to make a note of that above it to make sure that I use the correct unit. Convert this energy to kilojoules. So I'm looking for the kJ or the kilojoules. So from kcal to kJ. Okay, so if I look at my conversions, I have one that goes directly from kilocalorie to kilojoules. So this is the one I'm going to use in this first problem. So I set up my train track, 215, and I'm just going to start by using kcal. And the reason why I'm doing this is so I don't get my capital C's and my lowercase c's confused, because sometimes they look the same. So you put your given in your top left box, and then whatever unit you have in your given, you automatically drop it to the bottom of the next train track. So it will cancel, just like x over x would cancel in a math class. Next, I'm looking for kilojoules. So I'm going to put that at the top, excuse me, at the top of my train track. So now that I have my units in the correct place, I'm going to put my numbers in. So this conversion, 1 kilocalorie equals 4.184 kilojoules. So I can write this kind of 2 ways. I can say that 1 kilocalorie equals 4.184 kilojoules, because this is just a conversion or it's a ratio. And then I can also say that 4.184 kilojoules is 1 kilocalorie. So now I just need to pick the one that matches the units. So on the right, the kilojoules are on the top and the kilocalories are on the bottom. So I'm going to plug in this one here because the units match. So 4.184 kilojoules for every 1 kilocalorie. So now that I have everything in place, I'm going to solve. Kilocalorie cancel. So my answer is in kilojoules, just like I want. And then I'm going to multiply across the top and divide across the bottom because this is a fraction. These are numerators and this is a denominator. So in my calculator, 215 times 4.184, and then I could divide by 1, but I know that dividing by 1 won't change my answer. So this equals 899.56. And since my unit is now kilojoules, I'm going to add that at the end. So that's my answer. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. A physics experiment releases 3,250 joules of energy. How many calories is this? So I'm starting with 3,250 joules, and I'm ending at calories. And this is a lowercase c, okay? So I'm starting with joules, and I'm going to calories. And if I look at my conversions, I have one that goes directly from lowercase c calories to joules, okay? And you're like, these are the same. They are, because it's the same ratio of calories to joules. So I'm going to set the question up the same way I did before with my train tracks. So 3,250 joules, 3,250. Given goes in this top left box. Next, you take your unit and you drop it down. So that way joules over joules cancel. And I want calories, and these are the little calories, not the food calories. So I put that at the top, okay? And just like before, I can think about this conversion as a ratio where 1 calorie is 4.184 joules, or 4.184 joules is 1 calorie. So I'm just going to choose whatever expression of this ratio that matches my units. So I'm going to pick this one on the left because the units match. So 1 calorie for every 4.184 joules. Okay, it's just a ratio because it's a conversion. Joules over joules cancel. Okay, so now I'm going to multiply across the top and divide across the bottom because it's a fraction. So 3,250, I know if I multiply by 1, that's not going to change my answer. So divided by 4.184. So my answer is this big old number, but I'm only going to go to 2 decimal places because we're not interested in significant figures here. I just want to solve the problem. So the 8 would round the 6 into a 7. So my answer is 776.77 calories, and that's a lowercase c. Okay, let's look at the next one. Here we go. A body burns 6.5 calories while jogging for a minute. Convert this energy to joules. Okay, so I'm given 6.5 calories, and this is a capital C, so I know that I mean kilocalories. Convert this energy to joules, so I'm going to circle it. So I'm starting with kilocalories, and I'm trying to end up at joules. The problem is that I don't have one of these bullet points or one of these conversions that goes directly from kilocalorie to joules. So that means I'm going to have to stop somewhere. So I can either go from kilocalorie to kilojoule and then to joule, or from kilocalorie to calorie and then to joule. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It doesn't matter because you'll end up getting the same answer. So I'm going to go from kilocalorie to calorie and then to joule. So I'm going to end up doing 2 steps here in my conversion factor. So start with your given in the same place. 6.5 kilocalories. And again, it is the capital C as our food calories, but I'm changing it to kcal so I don't get my C's mixed up, okay? Next, I'm going to draw out my train track. Okay, so whatever unit you have here, you want to drop it down to the track of the next, or to the bottom of the next track. And I know, and I already figured out that I need more than one step. So I can't go directly from kcal to joules. So I'm going to go from kcal to calorie first. So because this is the first step and this is the next thing I want, I'm going to put calorie at the top. So now this is a metric conversion where you have 1,000 of your base units equals 1 of our kilo base unit. So 1,000 calories equals 1 kilocalorie. So then your kilocalorie and your kilocalorie cancel, which is what you want. And now if I solved this, my answer would be in calorie. So I finished this first step. Okay, now I can actually get to joules, which is what the question is asking me for. So I'm going to take my calories and drop it down the same way I've done. And I want joules, which is at the top. Okay, so I can finally get there. And now I'm looking at that same conversion factor and deciding what numbers go where based on the units. So since I'm looking for joules and I'm canceling calories, I'm going to use the second one over here, or the one on the right, because the units match. So I'm using this expression of this ratio because the units match. So 4.184 joules for every 1 calorie. So calorie over calorie cancel. And now I'm ready to solve. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, think of this like multiple fractions. So what we're going to do is multiply across the top first. So the 6.5 times 1,000 times 4.184, and then we're going to divide along the bottom. So then it would be divided by 1, divided by 1, okay? So if I put this in my calculator, 6.5 times 1,000 times 4.184, okay? And I know that if I divide by 1 and divide by 1, it's not going to change my answer. So here is my answer. 27196 joules. So 27,196 joules. Okay? All right, let's look at the last one. A snack contains 1850 or 1,850 calories of energy. Express this in kilojoules. Okay, so I'm starting with this 850 calories, and this is a lowercase c. And I'm looking for kilojoules. And I'm just going to make a note that that is kj to remind myself of what those units are. So I'm starting at calories and I'm ending at kilojoules. Okay, and I don't have anything in my conversion factors up here that go directly from calories to kilojoules. So the little calories to kilojoules. So I'm going to have to stop somewhere first. So I'm going to go from calories to joules and then from joules to kilojoules, okay? And you could take a different route and go to kcal and then kilojoules. You'd get the same answer. So I'm going to go from calories to joules and then from joules to kilojoules. So I'm going to put my given in, 1,850 calories. Set the train track up. My first step is going to be going from calories to joules. So I'm going to drop my calories down so they cancel. And in this step, I'm looking to get to joules so then I can get to kilojoules after. So if I'm looking at that same relationship, right? I have 1 calorie equals 4.184 joules or 4.184 joules equals 1 calorie. I'm going to pick the one that has the units in the same places. So that way I know where the numbers go. So I'm going to use this one on the right because the units are in the same place in this expression of this ratio. So 4.184 joules for every 1 calorie. Okay, so now calorie and calorie cancel. So this first step is done. Okay, now I'm going to go from joules to kilojoules. So my joules cancel down at the bottom, joules over joules. And I want kilojoules, so I'm going to put that at the top because now I can get there. And then this is a metric conversion where we have 1,000 of the base units equals 1 of those kilo base units. So 1,000 joules equals 1 kilojoule. So joules over joules are going to cancel. And now I'm ready to solve. So again, we're going to multiply across the top. 1850 times 4.184 times 1, and then divide across the bottom. Divided by 1, divided by 1,000. So if I put this in my calculator, and since the joules canceled, I'm ready to just find my final answer. So here we go. 1,850 times 4.184. And then I know if I multiply by 1, that's not really going to do anything. And I know if I divide by 1, that's not going to change my answer. So I'm just going to jump to dividing by 1,000. And just put this all in your calculator at the same time and hit enter. So our answer is 7.74 because this 0 does not round the 4. Okay, 7.74, and then my units are kilojoules, because it's what the question asked me for, and it's the one that is not crossed out or canceled. So that is our final answer. So this is how we are converting from calories, as in food calories, to our base unit calories to joules and kilojoules.